Hi, it's Nancy Reynolds. I was so excited I started a couple minutes early. I am sorry about that. You'd think I could tell time better, wouldn't you? Anyway, welcome to the Share Fair. I've been watching the presentations and they have been absolutely great. I've learned some new techniques and some old techniques, reminded how to do. I really like the, Maureen just did it, the huffing technique on the block. It's really good. Very cool. And so now, I'm hoping you can all hear me. I see a thumbs up. So let me know if you can hear me, because I did turn my sound off for a moment before I started. Oh, there's Shirley. Hi Shirley, good to see you. I am going to take us right down to the table. Let's see, move that over. Here we go. This is the Heavenly Hollyhocks set. I think this is so pretty. It's very feminine and it is very summery, and I am not ready to leave summer behind. So I thought we would start with the coloring. I already started because truly it took me quite a while to color, and I didn't want to waste your time or take up too much of your time. I have got So Saffron, Calypso Coral, and Granny Apple Green. These are my markers. So let's see. We're going to start with the light. On the larger image, the one that is on the bottom, I went ahead with the light and I colored in my So Saffron flower. Okay, I couldn't see the computer with my glasses on, and I can't see to work without them. I guess that comes with getting older, right? So all of the bigger flowers, the hollyhock flowers, are colored with the light So Saffron. And then the detailed is colored with the dark So Saffron blend. Let's just put that in. And what I found is that it helped to have them side by side so I could see where one flower ends and the other begins. And I just colored over the center with it. And that's all our So Saffron. The light Granny Apple Green is our larger image, and the detailed image is the dark Granny Apple Green. We'll go with the light Calypso Coral. I see a white spot. That's what I found, is there are white spots. And so I kept going back and forth, which was what took me so much time coloring. So I thought, well, I'll just leave a few flowers to color. And I promised you that we would be using some, or a lot, Wink of Stella, and we are. Because I just thought it was a wonderful idea. Hey, I'm using my larger tip, but I have found that my Calypso Coral, the dark one, my larger tip is a little bit frayed. I think I've used it a lot. Once it's frayed, you might want to use it for gems, for coloring gems. And that might be how I frayed mine, as I was coloring gems with it. So let me turn to the littler end. I think I really didn't want to color that Calypso Coral right there, but that's okay. So we're all colored. Now is the perfect time to find my Wink of Stella, which I was sure was right here. Here it is. Wink of Stella. I just thought that this center flower needed Wink of Stella. So a little Wink of Stella on this. And then on the detailed image, I kind of thought it all needed Wink of Stella. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. Well, thanks, Chrissy. I'm glad you like it. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. Anyway, so let's just start painting with our Wink of Stella. And I am using the Stampin' Pierce mat with a piece of paper over it, which I taped on the back because I didn't want to get my mat all dirty. Well, it wouldn't be dirty, it would just be colored. And actually, since the only thing I seem to be getting all over the place is Wink of Stella, it would be very sparkly. So maybe I would have liked that. Truly, can you have too much Wink of Stella? The answer to that is no, in my humble opinion. And then I'm going to show you how I attached this, because I didn't stop and think about the adhesive pieces. Putting it on first and then cutting this out. So what I did was I grabbed my silicone mat and I have a little container with sponges and the sponge dauber. And I grabbed the sponge dauber because I decided I like that a lot better. I feel like I've got more control. I'll turn this over. Here's my multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to make a fairly good pile of glue. And I will kind of daub it around, get it on my dauber. Might have gotten too much glue that time, but the other day I got not enough. So I'm just going to work fairly quickly and daub this on the back of my detailed image. This will clean up beautifully. I do try not to move it, but I guess I did a little bit. And then I just lined it up. That's a little messy, so I'm not going to put that back down. So the one thing with glue is it gives you a little bit of time to move things around. So I like to start at the top. Line it up. Can't talk and line up at the same time. It's not possible. Even for a chatterbox like me. Get that down. And one of the things I want to show you is the dies that cut this gorgeous layer out. So we've got some sparkle. We've got it colored. I am going to put it down and use my hand to kind of flatten it. There we are. We've got our focal piece. I'm going to move the glue out of the way. We may be coming back to that because I want to show you the dies. Aren't they gorgeous? They cut out, I've got the basically half a sheet of the white paper, and I just laid them down and they cut out really well. One thing through the machine, and actually I think I did them this way because it would conserve a little bit of paper. It was just easy to do, and I looked at them and thought, now what do I do with it? And then I thought of my blends. I love blends. So here's the dilemma. There is a stamp. This little one right here, it's 3 together, and that is behind my die cut piece. And I needed to line it up, so I pulled out the Stamparatus. And I put my die cut piece down even before I colored it, decided where it was going to go, then I lined up my stamp on top of it. Looks like I'm a little bit off today. So let's do that. Let's pull the stamp off, put it down on top, flat sides up. Then I'm going to put that on, pull my piece off, and it should be in the right place. And we are going to stamp this one. I did so saffron because that was the color I used. I might do it twice because I want to make sure it's just a little bit darker than the blends. Let's look. Nope, I think that's just fine. And believe it or not, I did not put Wink of Stella on this piece. I do have a little self-control. Maybe not a lot, but a little. Let's see. This mounts to the coral piece, and I tend to build my focal point and then put it on. So I will use a little bit of my seal. Once you've got the stamping done and the coloring done, the card goes together really fast. So there we go. This layer's right over the top. And again, I'm bringing my stamping mat, my silicone mat back. I've still got my mess of glue up there in the corner. I actually have a second mat. So I'm going to move the first mat to the side with the glue because I've made it messy already. And I don't want to make this one messy. So I'm not going to use quite as much glue because I'm always okay with a little bit loose on the card of the flower. I think it gives it a little bit of dimension. So here we are on our clean mat. We'll line up the flower, put this down. Now if you've somehow, like I did, gotten a little glue and it's a little bit sticky, what you can do, and what I do, is I pull out my embossing buddy. Let's see. Here it is. And now that we have them in our catalog, it's really wonderful. And I just take and just give it a little swoosh. It doesn't really leave any powder on it, but it's not sticky at all now. So that's my hint for when I'm messy, which tends to be often. I have got my cardstock, and I like, if I'm using it as a card base, I like to use my thick basic white. I think it gives it a little bit more stability. So here we are. I'm going to take a little Tombow. I like having the wiggle room. When I'm doing the basic white layer, I generally speaking don't use the multi-purpose glue. I think it shows through. And I'm not right over my card because my camera's in the way, but that looks pretty good. So here's our card. And you know what I thought? Even though there's a lot of Wink of Stella on it, there wasn't enough bling. So I brought in my rhinestones and decided that every single, oh, those are too big. I need little ones. Let's put that back and get a new package out, because I want the little ones at the top. Let's take. And I thought all of these little flowers deserved to have a rhinestone right in the middle, which is a fair amount of rhinestones, but that's okay. And I thought that gave it a lovely sparkle. Just a little extra bling. Does anyone have hollyhocks in their garden? I don't, but I really do like them. Let me see. My comments aren't scrolling for some reason. Chrissy, you're a Funkastella girl too. All right, now we've got some bling, and now we have a little bit more stamping to do. Because we've got a pretty outside, we need a sentiment, and we need an inside and our envelope. So what I did is I mounted the single stamp, grabbed my So Saffron, and I'm going to stamp the inside at the bottom. Okay. I just realized that I don't remember where I put my... And let's do a partial one up here. And then one, hope my mask works. I didn't cut my mask out totally. I just cut a piece of it because I really wanted a bigger edge on the paper. So let's see what we've got. That is fine. Okay. I have my leaf stamp, my Granny Apple Green ink, and I really felt that it was just a little too dark for me. And I'm going to show you that. On this card, I used the full strength ink on the inside, and on my envelope, I used second generation ink. And I'm really much happier with the second generation ink. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to stamp off. Oh, didn't get a good inking. Now I'll stamp off. And we've got a little leaf going up and off. And I will do it a second time across the bottom, and we'll get a little more of that larger leaf going across. And if you wanted to, you could fill in with your blends if you don't quite have it fully done. I believe this is the one that's going to cause a problem, because I didn't do a good job of deciding where the mat needed to go. So we'll just have, maybe we'll just have we'll see what we'll do. Stamping off and up the side. And then, let's see, if I just use my little leaf and stamp it off, can I just kind of poke it in here? Nope, I don't like it. We're just going to have the one. Actually, maybe later what I'll do is I'll cut out another mat. That's what I will do. I will cut another mat later, and I will finish the inside off camera. So that would just go right here if it were done. We'll just pretend it's done for a moment. The envelope is done. Let's put the green ink away before I get green everywhere. Although for some reason it's not the green that I make the biggest mess with. It's blue ink. If I'm working with blue ink, it is somewhere it shouldn't be. I can pretty much guarantee it. And then I have just a strip for our sentiment, and I'm doing that in Calypso Coral. Oh, I also want to do Calypso coral centers. Let's do that on my envelope and on my pretend inside. Or pretend that it's done inside. There we are. Coral centers, I thought that was kind of pretty. Calypso coral. And our sentiment is Calypso coral. And this is a thank you, not a thank you card, it's a get well card. Sending you get well wishes your way. So I think I'll take my little sticky note off. Turn this so that, let's see, and just put this in the middle. Okay. I have dimensionals to put this on with. I have my snips, because snips are important. I don't know if you can see, but this little edge is up. That's the way I cut my paper. And so I might just like to iron that down with my bone folder. Get the edge off. There, that's better. Who knew a bone folder was an iron? Here's where it's going to go, right across the front. Perhaps a little higher than this one because I don't think I want to hide my rhinestone. And I just took and I snipped. And if the snip is wrong, if it's a little too far, I can always snip closer when it's on the card. So, even though it's going over, I am putting one in the middle because I just thought if I didn't do that, it sagged a little bit. And we don't want saggy middles. Saggy middles are bad. I will put this on. It does hang over just a little bit. So what I will do is I will just sneak in with my scissors and give it a little less of an angle. There we are. Our card is done. We have a pretty summary card almost ready to send. And I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, Joy, I agree. A package of just the littlest rhinestones would be perfect. Maybe we should sandbox that idea. I'm glad you liked the card. And I want to thank you for joining us for our Share Fair event. There's a bit of a break now, so it's time, I guess, to go cook dinner and do chores. Well, that doesn't sound fun. Let's not do that. Let's create and craft in our studios. That sounds even better. And to get the directions and the sizes and everything, we've got that lovely tutorial to give you as a gift. So get with your demonstrator. And thank you so much for joining me. And until I see you again, happy crafting.